Hi everyone, so today we are going to be talking about a YouTuber called Schneider. Now this is a guy that's been popping up on my recommended a lot recently, maybe on yours as well, and it's always like thumbnails of him with lions and like cuddling them, so I was intrigued by it obviously, so decided to go and watch a few of his videos. And I did have some thoughts that I thought I'd want to share with you guys. So this video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be me watching the videos, maybe pausing them every now and then and talking a little bit about it. So Schneider is like a 27-year-old, I think, Swiss guy that he was very successful in Switzerland. He made a lot of money. He started his own financial company. And then I think he said that once he fulfilled this dream or goal, he realized that actually all he had was material wealth and he had a lot more goals that he wanted to look forward to. So he left to South Africa. He has a piece of land which is around 400 hectares in South Africa, and he's called it the HAKUNA MIPAKA oasis. On there he has loads of different kinds of animals such as lions, monkeys, wildebeest, hyenas, the list goes on. And he started like a vlogish channel, like Q&A channel, along with his really successful Instagram to kind of content create. So yeah, we'll just be reviewing a few of the videos and stuff like that. Let's get these on. So I have to use my brother's headphones because my headphones are at uni where I left them before quarantine. So the thing Dean's most known for is being part of a lion pride. So he's made a video about this, so we're gonna watch that one.
Alright, a lot of people keep on asking me how did I manage to become part of a lion pride? How can I be so close with them at all situations? Today we want to go a little bit more into detail. What does this mean? So this is lion property here. Come with me. I have to leave all my human behaviors, my human
I mean, first thing I'll say is the enclosures that he has them in are massive. They're not really enclosures, they're more, this is all like wild land that he has, the 400 hectares. And he has them, these 6 lions, in a specific part of it. He hasn't actually opened the whole park to them. He said that he wants to dedicate 300 hectares to them. But at the moment they're in a smaller enclosure, so he has like fences going around. So they're amazing places for lions to be.
Because in here, I have to be a lion. I have to think like a lion. I have to act like a lion in every single situation. It's part of socializing within a lion pride, because they lick each other to clean each other as well. Now, unfortunately, I can't lick, so I'm imitating with my hands to take the blood off her and get her clean again.
I can't help but think of like Angela in the office, like licking her cats clean. Imagine.
The psychological issues that go behind licking a cat are not things I want to go into.
Respect means to give each other the privacy and the space they need. You often can see that lions lay on top of one another, they love affection and to cuddle, but there is also those moments when they don't like it or they just don't feel like it. And in those moments they will let you know straight away. And if they let you know and you step away and respect that, then you're cool at all times. No matter if it's between the lions, between males and females, or in my case, even between me and them. Don't overdo it. Leave it. She can't enter my world, like my privacy, and just take over everything. And that's the same thing she does with the other ones. That's why she's the one with the most scars in the face.
So he's saying that, you know, she can't enter his space and do all of these things to him, like lay on top of him. So apparently Nyla, the lioness that slept in his lap, she's very cheeky. Like she'll do this with the other lions, she'll do this with him. Apparently she's very like obsessed with him, according to him. The only thing is, obviously they're lions, this is their nature. And I think he tries to justify it by saying, oh, they see me as a lion. But at the end of the day, he's not. He is a human. He is a human entering their space. So I understand lions constantly test each other and try and assert dominance over each other. But in the wild, lions nearly always back down. They understand the rank. They understand dominance. So I know he's saying that what he's doing is emulating their behaviors, but he shouldn't be emulating their behaviors because he's not a lion. He is a human.
If you still continue and if you still keep on bothering them, that's where they're gonna slap you, claw you, bite you, or just do something which seriously hurts you on purpose because you didn't listen to them. And it's absolutely no difference if it's between them, lion and lion, or between me and them. For you guys, you see a human within a lion pride, but they see just their family, their lion pride. So even in such situations, I have to react the same way. When they start using their claws on me, don't use your claws. Claws.
So that video that he just showed, that clip, there's actually a bit of controversy about it. Like he just said there, you know, you see human and lion, they see part of their family. He isn't really part of a pride because, I mean, they can love him and have affection towards him. That's obvious. That's very clear from these videos. They clearly love him. That doesn't mean he's part of a pride. He doesn't have a role in the pride. Therefore, he is not part of the pride.
Bro. Okay, let me get out of here. Okay. Claws. No, you can't. You can't just hold me with your claws, man. You're gonna rip my whole skin off. Stop it. Alright, spend time with those ones which... Can you see that? I'm just telling you.
So that's the full video, and you can see he's really going in. Now, something that isn't clear in the videos that he says, oh, you know, if the other lions overstep boundaries, this is what they do, this is how they assert dominance, this is how they say leave me alone, they give warnings, stuff like this. The thing is, lions also play. This is also their way of playing. If he was a lion, he'd obviously be able to withstand this kind of play, where they bring out their claws, or if they're playfully biting. But because he's human, obviously it's going to hurt him more than it would hurt the lions. Obviously, if he sees himself in the situation where the lions are getting playful or even slightly aggressive, like he said, you have to remove yourself from the situation, but he tends to stick around. And yes, fine, the little punches don't seem to hurt, and it's only a matter of time before something really serious happens, and that could be them hurting him, or hurting his cameraman, or any other people that work there. These lions probably won't ever try and hurt him, they probably won't go out of their way, they could just be playing with him and go too far.
Okay, this just happened right now, but that was not on purpose. That's just a reaction, reflex thing. That's why it's okay. But if one of them uses their front claws every now and then again on me, and I tell them, leave it, no, and they continue, that's where they want to see, okay, who's dominating whom. And the only thing I can do is use my knuckles, give them a smack, whether it's on the nose when they biting too hard, or it's on the paws when they're clawing too hard or something like that.
He's not wrong. So obviously, like I said, lions do test each other, they do see how far they can get with each other. The only thing is, obviously, like I said, it's going to hurt him more than it hurts the lions when they do this to each other. The very simple solution is for him to remove himself from this situation, and I mean permanently. There's actually no need for him to be interacting with the lions as much as he does. So he's constantly with them, he's part of the pack, he's like cuddling with them, making videos with them, sleeping with them, playing with them, like imitating cleaning them. This serves no purpose for them because, like I said, he doesn't actually play a role in the pride. He's not a dominant male or a dominant female. So it makes zero sense to why he's ingratiated himself with them. He said that when they first came to him, they were very young and they were captive bred. So it's not like you can just release them back into the wild. They obviously hadn't had the training that they needed from their mothers. Really hard to release captive bred big cats back into the wild. In some situations, hand rearing does make sense. So if in this situation they were orphaned and very young when they came to him, it makes sense for him to hand rear them and, you know, him look after them and take on the role of surrogate mother. Up to a point of around 12 weeks, this becomes unnecessary. They don't need formula anymore. They don't need constant care. So that's when, usually, if you're hand rearing a lion, you would back off and kind of let them do their thing. For him to constantly be with them all the time and filming these videos, it doesn't make sense. He's not doing it for any benefit to them. This serves no purpose for them. Obviously, like I said, they clearly love him, but him being there all the time, it doesn't make sense in the long run. The only person this actually benefits is him. Of course they'll miss him, but I mean, he can still interact with them, and obviously that would help him avoid situations like this where they accidentally scratch him or bite him too hard because they're either playing or testing him. Now let's watch his Q&A.
Dexter and Snow and Leo and so, they are in an age where they will accept people up to a certain level, but not up to a level where you can just walk in by yourself and just sit down and hang out with the lions. So becoming part of the pride, no matter how good you are with animals, is now too late actually. But being able to be accepted, which also takes quite a lot of work, is still possible, and we are busy in the process with that, so that the lions are actually cool with them being in the environment and not being, you know, kind of dangerous, that they get attacked or aggressively approached or something like that.
He still doesn't explain why it's necessary to have anyone in there at all, other than to film these videos. He doesn't explain it. He doesn't explain his reasoning behind trying to get the lions to accept these people. And these two people are content creators, by the way. I understand hand rearing up to a point if they didn't have a mother to help raise them, but what's the point of you constantly being around them if it's not to film videos?
So first of all, it's important to know that the HAKUNA MIPAKA oasis is closed to the public. It's not open to the public. We don't have any tourism. We are a private sanctuary, no guest lodges, no opportunities to make a trip to the HAKUNA MIPAKA oasis out of protection towards the animals. This has to be now and in the future all about the animals and not about humans. As soon as you allow tourism, often the whole thing turns, in my opinion, and ends up being about the people and the service and not about the actual welfare of the animal anymore. This is why we also don't have a volunteer program anymore. And of course, we do have every now and then jobs again, like proper jobs.
Now, that's something that's amazing about him, obviously, that he doesn't allow like public to enter the oasis. He has no like guest lodges where people can come and stay and experience like a stay with the animals, like you see some people have like those giraffe ones or something. This is something that obviously I really strongly agree with. This is amazing that it doesn't taint what he's doing. It doesn't skew his objectives. It's not about the money, it's not about anything like that. It's about the animals, and that's something that's really admirable. He says that he doesn't actually plan on ever opening it up to the public, which is incredible, and I really commend him for it. This isn't like a hit piece on Dean Schneider. I don't think he's Joe Exotic. Obviously a really great guy that has the best intentions at heart. I think some of the things that he does, he could do a bit better or explain maybe why he's doing it. But other than that, no, I see what he's doing and I respect what he's doing, and I think in the long run it can be a very helpful thing.
First of all, I try to cover these positions with local people. There is a lot of hardworking South African people which are educated, which work hard to become something and somebody, to become successful and do something out of their lives. And I believe since I moved here to South Africa and built up this project on South African ground, I first want to cover these positions with local people, with local community, give them an opportunity to do something out of this. And then once we don't find people or it doesn't work in certain positions here, we also reach out to people from all over the world, where every now and then somebody also from overseas will get the opportunity to join the mission and become part of the HAKUNA MIPAKA family.
This is amazing. So something that we learn about in uni a lot is the fine line between being helpful and really harmful to a community. So a lot of communities where these animals that require conservation live are very poor communities, and it's really hard for like us as Westerners to go in and be like, oh, the white man's here, we're here to save the day, you obviously didn't know what you were doing, you need to leave now, we're going to hire everyone from outside the country and they're going to come and save you guys. That's a really bad way to look at the situation, but unfortunately it happens a lot. So the right way to do this is obviously to hire from the local community. You want the local community to sustain this when you eventually go back to your home country, or for generations to come. You need the local community on your side, and the way to do that is to hire them, to educate them, to allow them to educate others. You don't want to just come in as like a bunch of foreigners trying to fix and tell people how to do things. Usually these people care about the animals, but they don't have the funding to do what they need to do. So it's amazing that he hires from local communities, and it's the best way to do things.
And yeah, of course you can see it in the movements as well. It's like when you look at a human, how he walks. If you
So Dean also has these two capuchin monkeys, JJ and Momo, which stay in his house from what it seems like in the videos that I've watched. So he bathes them in his house, and he feeds them, he sleeps with them, he like cuddles with them. Again, like I said, he's not very good at explaining why he does things. He doesn't explain why JJ and Momo need to stay with him if they need to stay with him. He has this amazing, beautiful location where the animals can roam free, but he doesn't explain why these particular ones are staying with him. Until then, obviously I can't speculate. Maybe, they're sick, maybe they lost their mother, maybe they needed the hand rearing. So I can't tell what ages they are, so it would be helpful if he answered some of these questions.
Well, since I'm not into animal trading or animal breeding, the plan was, or still is, not to breed them, because there's no use for it. There's so many lions in captivity already, and I actually didn't want to put more lions into captivity. The first one to be able to get pregnant will be Nyla, so we are talking about it or discussing to, to castrate her anytime soon now. But I'm really thinking of when I dedicate the entire back of the farm to those 6 lions, if I would not just maybe allow Kiara or Khaleesi to have her own cubs to extend that family to a certain level and then castrate her. But I'm still thinking about that. I mean, the lions will anyway stay here for a lifetime. They won't go nowhere. There's enough.
Obviously, he's saying he's not into breeding, he doesn't want to put more lions into captivity. The thing is, though, it has been shown that it's been successful in the past where you had a pride of hand-reared lions, but once they were, like he's saying, he wants to release them into the rest of his farm and he wants to dedicate 300 hectares to them. Once he does that, if he no longer interacts with them and allows them to have cubs or whatever, it has been shown that you can take those cubs, you'll get a few, you can release those into the wild as long as you haven't habituated them to humans. Now, the reason it's dangerous to habituate lions to humans is because of the threat of poachers or hunters. If an animal is so used to a human, like this pride is used to Dean and to Noe and to the other people at the farm, they will go up to humans. This is something that's not dangerous, I've interacted with them before, and they will very easily be hunted and killed. So that's why he can't release this particular pride into the wild being outside of a cage or outside of a fence like he has. But if he really wanted to, in a way that would help conservation, is that he can allow this pride to breed, like he's saying he's thinking about it, and then those cubs that form from that, you can leave them with the pride for a little bit. You have to not be with them and allow them to raise them and teach them some skills, and then you can take all of those cubs as a pride and release them into the wild. It's been shown to be successful. The prides then, they thrive and they survive in the wild because they were left alone. So therefore, they are not at a larger disadvantage to poachers.
Most of the food for the lions comes from the HAKUNA MIPAKA oasis itself. Keep in mind we have tons of wild living animals here. Herds of zebras and wildebeests and kudus, nyalas, water bugs, giraffes, all kinds of animals. We also do have predators here like leopards, brown hyenas, big snakes, also small snakes, venomous snakes. So the animals, they come from here. Most of the time when we spot, for example, just lately we spotted, a few days ago, we spotted a zebra with a lot of kind of bite marks at its neck. So that was a male which lost a fight with another male who was more dominant. They often fight over herds of females. Same happens with wildebeests and so, which get hurt very, very badly, and then we shoot those ones and feed them to the lions. Or it happens that one maybe jumps into the dry river when it's dry season and then breaks a leg and struggles to walk around or to keep up with the...
Joe Exotic, take notes. This is what euthanization is. This is helpful euthanization, where an animal is beyond help, is going to die anyway, might as well continue the circle of life and, feed them to the lions. Something obviously that's really amazing is that he's giving them full carcasses, and he's saying that, he actively tries to help teach them how to open a carcass, and he's constantly giving it to them and not taking it away until they've completely stripped it clean, which is obviously a really good thing. It's a good thing to teach them if he wants to let them out into this massive area. Okay, so this is his Q&A part 2.
The Live Wild project. fencing up the whole back of my farm, getting all the permits right, the security measurements in place to be able to release the lions in the back of the farm so that they can have a beautiful, secure and wild life out there. Very good question, and this question has been asked already a few times before, which is the reason why I'm going to go a little bit more into detail in this question or in this answer. So all the HAKUNA MIPAKA animals which are here on the sanctuary, they have a lifelong and secure home here at the HAKUNA MIPAKA oasis. We do have every now and then rehabilitation cases which go back into the wild, but most of the animals which you guys know, such as the lion pride, Chucky the hyena, Momo and JJ, the monkeys, as well as Lulu the Burmese python, they have a lifelong home here. Let's start off with the lion pride, for example. It's not as easy as you guys think. The lion pride will definitely be able to hunt at the later stage. Once I succeeded to dedicate the entire back of the farm, which is about 3 million square meters of pure African wilderness with lots of zebras, impalas, and wild game animals out there, which they can hunt, they'll be able to live as wild as possible. But being able to release them back into the wild will not be an opportunity for me. Why? Because I would not even get the permits to do that. Keep in mind, these animals, they have been born in captivity. They know since day one what a human is. So they lost their natural fear of humans. This is problem number one, because out there in the wild, where there's no fences between the wild.
Obviously, he can't release these particular lions into the wild because they're so habituated to humans and because they were captive bred. I'm not actually sure what he means here by getting the permits to release them back in the wild. Obviously, you can't just take animals and release them anywhere in the wild. You need to have done research and shown to the authorities and governments that, it's a good idea to do this, or it's safe to do this, or it won't impact the local biodiversity in the area. I mean, there's been loads of cases where people are trying to do good, but they'll release an animal into the wild thinking that it will help biodiversity. And in the UK, people have been talking for ages about trying to release some wolves into Scotland. But the reason it's taking so long to do this is because that can have either a great effect or a devastating effect. The wolves can go out and hunt everything there is and there'll be nothing left but wolves. So you really have to do loads of research before you can just go and release animals into the wild. That's rewilding. That's bringing back an animal that hasn't been in that area for a very long time or has never been in that area. Releasing lions into areas that have lions already, I don't think it's as hard a process as obviously trying to rewild. Maybe he can shed some more light on this.
That's where human-wildlife conflict becomes a big problem. Now, actually, most of you guys out there don't know that, but number one case or number one threat to our current wildlife on our planet is human-wildlife conflicts. Now, if I would put Dexter and the Pride out there into the wild, first of all, they wouldn't be protected from poachers, because poaching is still one of the huge issues out here in Africa regarding wildlife. And number two is, since they are not scared of humans, they would end up right into the next village, taking down maybe cattle of a farmer, being a threat to children's, to adults walking around on the street, and end up being shot. So releasing a pride of lions out there in the wild just like that, even though I would want to do it, it wouldn't be allowed by the government.
So yeah, he is right. I mean, human-wildlife conflict is a huge issue when it comes to conservation around the world. And it's one of the main things that we look at in a zoology degree. And we look at, kind of the hypocrisy of us going to a farmer in a very poor country and say, you're not allowed to farm here anymore because you're affecting the elephants. You can't tell people not to gain their livelihood or feed their families. You really have to work, this is what I meant when I said before, you would have to work with the local community. Obviously, our population is increasing. There are so many of us in the world now, and we all have to live somewhere. So this means, unfortunately, that we are encroaching on these animals' habitats, and they therefore have less and less area to live and area to roam, and this is when you can stumble on threats. So you probably see loads of stories about elephants being killed because they trampled on crop or trampled on a person and killed someone, snakes swallowing children whole. or swallowing wildebeest whole or cattle whole. And although these are rare, it does happen, and therefore it causes a lot of fear because they gain so much media attention. And this can make conservation very hard because, you know, you go to these areas and you say, hey, I really want to conserve the African lion, and people say, we don't want that, you know, the other day it killed my daughter. It's really hard to look at that kind of person in the eye and try and convince them that no, this is what's required for biodiversity and conservation to sustain. In countries such as South Africa, where bushmeat is still like a huge market, it is hard for lions in the wild to be protected from poachers. This is where protected areas come into play, or, you know, national parks where you're not allowed to hunt. But because these areas are so vast, it's really hard to police. This calls into question if he's prioritizing the right things. So at the moment, he obviously has this park that he's trying to fence and that he wants to hire guards for, and he has like CCTV all over the place to ward off poachers. But I mean, it also calls into question why he doesn't tackle poachers head on, and why he doesn't focus his resources more on that. To solve an issue, you have to go to the root of it. You can't just solve the end part of it, and the end part being, you know, lions aren't safe in the wild, so I'll create a safe place within a fence. Great, that does protect these particular lions, but it's not addressing the root of the issue, which is poaching. Now, this is coming from me. I'm sat in my house, you know, London. This isn't me like sitting on a high horse judging someone who's trying. Of course he's trying. It's just maybe some tips for him to concentrate on things in the future, you know. It's amazing that he wants to go out there and educate the public and use this platform to hopefully, like, I think he has like donations on his website, and hopefully conserve these animals. And like I said, the area that he has is such a beautiful and completely wild area. It is obviously fenced up, however, so it still calls back into question that these aren't really fully wild animals. The rest of the video is like asking personal questions, like if he's single and everything, which he is, so, you know, hit him up. Like I said, I think Dean's a great guy, and I think he clearly has really positive intentions, and he clearly wants to go out and help these animals that he loves so much and that clearly love him. But it always comes back to the unnecessariness of him being so intertwined with the lion pride. So the only justification I can see for this is that it allows him to film them so up close and get so personal with them. This would then allow people at home like you and me to watch these videos and maybe be inspired and be like, wow, that's amazing, I love these animals, and look into doing things that we can to save them, and or maybe cutting down our carbon footprint or recycling. Like, stuff like this can really inspire people in such small ways, but loads of small actions can create one big effect. If that is the case, fine. I wish that he would just be more upfront with it, because he makes it seem like the lions need him. Although these lions do love him, they don't need him to constantly be around them all the time. Obviously, the cons are that these animals are so habituated, and any hope of their cubs, if they ever have cubs, being released back into the wild diminishes if he continues this practice. But the pro of it is that it inspires other people at home to then want to donate to his charity or other charities, or just fix their behaviours to help the wildlife in general. A lot of people say that what he does is exploitative, and that he does it so that he can take pretty Instagram pictures. And like I said, this does seem like the case, that he wants to take these pretty Instagram pictures and do all this content creation and release these vlogs and these videos on his successful YouTube channel. But the end goal could be a positive one where he wants to inspire people at home. I personally want to see the good side to Dean. I mean, there's something so likable about him, and you can see that he's so passionate about what he does. And he's very passionate about the animals, and he gave up his life, you know, to move to South Africa and dedicate his life to animals. Yeah, that's just some opinions from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll leave his website down below. He does have a donate page. It says everything there that the money goes towards. Dean, if you ever watch this, hi. Hopefully you can answer some of the questions that I've laid out for you in this video. You're probably never gonna watch this. I hope you guys are enjoying quarantine and the sun, and I hope you had a lovely Easter and are enjoying your bank holiday Monday. Bye everyone.